Hey there everybody, James here, and back with another watch review, and today we are talking about another pretty special piece. So this is the Grand Seiko, it's an Evolution 9 series piece, and it is the AJHH SLGA017. So this is a limited edition model of 255 pieces and made for the Japan market. So the AJHH is an acronym for the Association of Japan High Horology. And essentially, this is a collection of high-end Japanese retailers that have collaborated across the years on some of these Grand Seiko limited releases. So it's got kind of some unique features, not necessarily the easiest watch to find because it was only available in Japan. And as far as I'm aware, it was a 2023 model year release. So still fairly new. Obviously, it's got the spring drive 5-day movement in it, so we'll talk about that. But overall, just a really cool piece with some unique features that we'll talk about. So again, the reference SLGA017. It is a 40 millimeter case diameter, which is standard to the Evo 9 series. It's got a case thickness of 12 millimeters, so you can see that. The lug width is 22 millimeters, so a pretty broad stance on the wrist here. And then the lug to lug dimension is 47.5 millimeters. So again, a very wearable watch. For me, this one just, again, has some unique features to it that we'll talk about with the dial, the power reserve being on the back, just a lot of things that I like about this. So the movement in it is, again, you can see spring drive 5-day, and that is the 9R-A2, essentially where we've got a mainspring that drives a wheel and it only runs in one direction. So that's why when you look at the seconds hand, you can see you've got this really nice smooth movement of the seconds hand. There's no stuttering or staggering of the seconds hand. The accuracy on it is also really nice. It's accurate to about plus or minus 10 seconds per month. So a very accurate timepiece with the new spring drive movements. It's also 100 meters water resistant, so it does double as a nice dress and sports piece. Now, if you've seen some of my other reviews, you know that I'm a big fan of wearing watches on either rubber or on straps. And this is the one exception to that, or will be in my collection, because I do intend to make this more of a dress piece. You know, still sticking to the blue kind of theme that I'm going with in my collection, but a very, very clean looking dial despite having this really nice texture here. So just a very cool piece all around. So let me throw it on the wrist for you so you can see what it looks like. Again, my wrists are pretty small, about 6 inches in circumference on the wrist. So this is what it looks like. And you can see, again, I do have really small wrists. The lugs go just about to the edge of my wrist. But overall, these are pretty wearable pieces. And I love, love, love the polishing on these watches, which we'll talk about in a moment. As you can see, the light just completely playing off of those hour markers there. So really another special piece for me here. Looking at the bracelet, it is all stainless steel. You've got a nice gold GS logo, so another kind of neat little detail there. And then this one uses a double screw construction to take out, double screw and pin construction to take out the bracelet links on it. So, and it's a single fold deploy and clasp, just like that. So let's turn it back to the dial and let's talk about some of the dial features here. So again, one of the most interesting things with Grand Seiko is the polishing that they use. So this is known as what's called Zaratsu polishing, and it's the same as black polishing that you'll find in Swiss watchmaking. And it's a very difficult thing to be successful at, because you basically have a machine with a spinning plate, and you have to find how to get the surfaces to be exactly black polished, and you can see that it reflects perfectly what's in front of it as I move the case around. So they do that on the case, which is unique to Grand Seiko. They also do it on the hour markers or indices. And so again, I do like the Grand Seiko models that have slightly larger indices, because one of the things you'll see with Grand Seiko is very rarely do they have lume on their watches, but when you have the black polishing, and you have this faceting that you can see here on the indices, you don't really need the lume. Like, it shows up pretty well even in darker light settings because of how much light play you get off of the indices. And again, you can kind of see that happening as I move it around here on those surfaces. So very, very cool look. Same thing with the hands. Also Zaratsu polished and really, really sharply cut, which is kind of, gives it a really nice, precise look. The seconds hand, you'll notice, is a blue fired seconds hand. Pretty much the same color as the chapter ring that goes around the outside. So even though the dial itself is a pretty light color overall, I think the chapter ring also kind of primes your eyes a little bit, to maybe see more blue than you otherwise would. So that's just kind of another neat little feature of it. It does have a screw down crown, which again gives it the 100 meters of water resistance. So first position, winds the watch. If I pull it out one time, I do have a quick set date, so I can jump the date. And then if I pull it out all the way, I do have the ability to hack the seconds on the watch. So again, really versatile, gives you a lot of options here, easy to use. And it's just a very, very cool piece, just a really special one. The dial texture is made to be the snow on Mount Iwate, which is where, the area near where many Grand Seiko watches are made, on a kind of a clear blue skies kind of day. So that's the idea behind the texture and the design. And I do really appreciate how Grand Seiko takes a lot of their inspiration for their dial designs from the areas where they make their watches and from nature. So I've always kind of appreciated that about Grand Seiko. Now, looking at the back, let's just take a quick look at the case back. So you can see some of the detail here, so you can kind of see there. So limited edition by AJHH. Again, the Association of Japan High Horology. And you can see the spring drive movement, the water resistance, and the power reserve indicator right down here towards the bottom. So that's a nice feature that I really like, that it's on the back on this piece rather than being on the front. I think it just gives the front a much cleaner look to the dial. So that is this watch, y'all. That's the Grand Seiko SLGA017. Again, a special piece that goes kind of with my blue dial themed collection, but in a different way this time, and has a much cleaner, brighter look. So this is kind of my formal dress piece, because I think the polishing just makes it look really special. And obviously the texture it's subtle, but it's also not so subtle that it's not noticeable. Like, I was looking at some of the Lake Sua models, like the SLGA021, and, considering that, but the dial is so subtle that until you get it in exactly the right light, you can't even really tell what it is. And so that's something that I appreciated about the way this one looks and just really glistens in the light. So thanks, as always, for stopping by, y'all. I appreciate it. I always say that I hope you get out of watches whatever you want to get out of watches. So find the things you like, and make the purchase decisions that make the most sense to you. Don't get caught up in the hype. And appreciate you for stopping by. Like the video, comment below, let me know your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.